Baxter Williams and IsoNation. You are here for Friday's weekly Wellbeing. What we decided to do a couple of weeks ago, we decided to create a format or a feature every Friday as a bit of a roundup. Any good news story that's come out of the crazy, challenging landscape that we're currently in, share those with business leaders, and also share the best way that people are dealing with this. You know, business leaders, as a business owner myself, it's quite a lonely environment. You know, we're looking after our people, we're looking after our process, we're looking after our cash, and you know, there's a lot of stress involved. How are people maintaining their mental, emotional, and physical well-being? So I'm really keen to get garner everyone's opinions and how everyone's kind of been coping with the current situation. And this week we have my good friend and MD of VIQU Recruitment. It's Matt Collingwood. Matt Collingwood, welcome, buddy.
Thank you, Nick. It's a pleasure to be here. Excellent.
Thank you very much. I know I've been on you for the last couple of weeks to kind of get on the show and share your story. I know you've been incredibly busy, probably as busy with not just recruiting but other things which we'll go into a little bit later. How are you finding things in general, buddy? I know it's a bit different to our weekly Leaders Insight, but I mean, how are you finding things personally and from a business perspective over the last couple of months, buddy?
It's been challenging. It's been challenging. I've been in a routine, and pre-COVID, it was getting out of bed at the same time and going to the same sort of places. And I certainly think for the first couple of weeks I was completely out of kilter. But I've now got my routine or a new routine in place. Overall, we're busy as a business. We're busy. I've obviously had to reforecast where the business is at, and the business plan's gone completely out the window in terms of what we were going to do, but it's just having a new plan and a new strategy. But overall, really positive from a mental health perspective. You know, I'm in a really good place, and you know, everyone they're in direct contact with is as well at the moment, so we're all supporting each other.
That's great. And you know what, you mentioned three things. You mentioned changing your business plan, you mentioned getting into a routine, you mentioned we're all in this together. IsoNation was created for that reason, you know, a collective of business owners trying to help each other at a time when, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty. You really want to make sure there's some support. What have you done personally? How have you kept yourself sane and present and kind of focused? What have you done?
Beginning of this year, I started back in the gym, a couple of PT sessions a week, and obviously that was out the window. I've got back into a routine of doing Zoom PTs, which have been absolutely brilliant. Really love that. So that's really good for the mental health and body. It always, you know, summer for me is, you know, great holidays and getting out and enjoying a beer garden and socialising with, you know, those that are near and dear to you. Obviously very different now because it's all in the garden. So a lot of the efforts have been in the garden, planting seeds. I've got, and this is probably the most unusual thing, I bought a beehive. I now have bees. I will be harvesting honey. You can expect some VIQU honey for friends and clients, etc. But it's, you know, it's something new. It's a bit of fun. I'm learning. So yeah.
Awesome, you know, and that's really cool. And what I've found with a lot of business leaders, normally we haven't got the time. We're very busy. We're rushing from meeting to meeting, city to cities, like you, country to country. I mean, you're all over the country. You're all over the world, should I say? You've got a global business. I think what everyone has done, and the thing that's resonated with most of my conversations, everyone's getting some fresh air. And everyone's getting some time to train. So I think training, particularly going out there, doing a Zoom session, having a walk, going on your bike. I think one, it provides a great opportunity to get some thinking time, and two, just give you some fresh air, an opportunity to kind of, you know, vent physically and just let it all out. So and then the beekeeping, that's quite creative. A lot of people I've spoke to have gone on Duolingo. I think Duolingo, like Zoom, from an IT perspective, have gone through the roof. They're stopped because I'm learning French. And a lot of people I've spoke to have increased their Duolingo accounts from the free one up to the premium one. But going back to business, in terms
give us some French lyrics then, Nick. Give us some. Tell us what you know in French.
Tell me what you want to know in French, and I'll tell you if I know it.
Okay, so Matt's a beekeeper.
Oh my word! All right, listen, for next week's show, I'm going to learn beekeeper. I've got Je m'appelle Nick. I've got Je beat Worcester. I've got it's the basics, mate. But okay. Both me and Rachel from IsoNation and from Nifty Communications, me and her husband have been very, very competitive trying to get our XP points up on Duolingo. We didn't rehearse that at all. That's made me look really silly. Matt is a beekeeper.
Sorry, Matt, put you on the spot there.
Don't worry, that's all right. That's all right. I'll get you back. Don't you worry about that. Anyway, listen, this is only going to be a short feature. I want it to be a really short feature. I want it to be high energy, and I also want it to be championing some good news. It's not a political show, and no disrespect to the news, but there's a lot of negativity out in the ether at the moment. And I think there's one thing that's come from the corona situation is actually collectively, community, collective spirit. I think what we need to do is champion some of the good stuff. And you're probably the most humble guy I know. You've been doing some phenomenal stuff with the NHS. I know that the NHS put a plea out for a number of volunteers within the NHS, and you kind of answered the back phone on that one. Just tell us a little bit about how it came about and what you've actually been able to achieve for the NHS support, obviously key workers in the NHS from a VIQU recruitment perspective.
Okay, so VIQU is IT recruitment. Up until COVID came in, the public sector, so NHS and the like, equated to about 3.5% of our business. So no relationships or very limited. Everyone probably saw the campaign that the NHS did to get 250 workers or volunteers to help out local trusts. And a lot of that was kind of low skilled, running medicines around and helping out. It kind of gave me the idea that when over 1 million people responded to put themselves forward to help, that we could do something very similar from an IT perspective. A lot of the administrators, the clinicians, etc., needed access, and historically may have had PCs and needed laptops and all those sorts of devices and all the security and peripherals to sit around it. So long story short, we needed to contact these trusts, not having the relationships. So I reached out to a data marketing business that sell the data, and I said, look, give it me for free, and we're doing it for a really good cause. We want to find these volunteers that have got IT skills and help out. He gave it me, a business called Oscar Research. So those guys have been great. We then sent an email out to head clinicians, to the CEOs of the trust, to heads of IT, to say would they be interested in any IT skilled individuals? Tell us what you're looking for, and we'll reach out to the local community to see who wants to help out. We were inundated with 200 plus requests for some really niche technical skills, which was great. To date, we've filled about 130 of those. So there's 130 people that have offered their time, their support, many of which are going into hospitals where COVID is rife, and they're not nice places to be at the moment. And whilst a lot of people could be at home in the safety of their own home, these volunteers have put themselves forward for that. So which is absolutely brilliant. From a business point of view, my recruiters have done an absolutely immense job. Most of this kicked off over the Easter weekend, and a lot of them sacrificed the whole Easter period to speak to as many volunteers as possible, so we could get those guys on site straight after Easter. So they've been absolutely brilliant. As an estimate, we reckon that if these trusts would have got contractors in to do the work, it would have cost them over £1 million. So the efforts of VIQU and my recruiters have saved the NHS over £1 million, which has been fantastic. And from a kind of heart, what kind of sits at this is the real value of helping out and just doing our part and making a difference. And one of the kind of examples that really stands out was we were contacted by one trust that had a ward with end-of-life patients, which are people that may only have days, weeks to live, which is very sad. And their family members aren't allowed to visit them. And we had a couple of volunteers that went in, and they configured iPads, so at least those people could see their family members and friends in those last few days. So we got a team very quickly to configure those. So that is an example of something I'll carry for the rest of my career in terms of what the guys have done there and what VIQU's done.
That is just like simply amazing. I've known you for a number of years, and I know you're a humble guy. And it was only when we were in the green room before the meeting that I actually understood quite what you've done. like outstanding on so many levels. One, your guys to give their Easter up. Two, the guys, what was the guy who gave you the data?
A guy called James at Oscar Research. Wonderful guy.
Just like the great thing that's come out of this is that collective spirit, that collaboration, that partnering. And I know that, you know, you're one of the co-founders of the Canaries, which I'm part of, which is a networking group for recruiters, which is a great deal of support. It's that collaboration, it's that coming together, and a really heartfelt end to the story around, you know, the person configuring the iPods for these people to spend their last days and last hours with their loved ones, and that's genuine. That's so much more different, and it's great when someone puts £5 and texts £5 to the NHS or a cause, but that's actually getting your hands dirty, putting your money where your mouth is, your team and your resources to make a difference. So on behalf of me and everyone from IsoNation, and I'm sure lots of people listening in, that's a massive contribution to the NHS. And a couple of people are already saying that. Dave Khan has recognised that. Hi, Dave. And then someone else has put down here, bonjour, Nick. So someone's already taken the mickey out of my French. Matt, I just want to say a massive thank you. It's so great to get people in and out of my network to understand exactly, one, what they've been doing to kind of keep themselves safe, sound, and looking after their own well-being, but more selfishly, what they've been doing to kind of assist with, you know, the collective in the UK and beyond to try and, one, navigate the landscape, two, let's just try and get through this. Sure. If you were to know the one thing, and listen, there's been people that have lost their lives, and there's been some incredible disruption, businesses that have gone under, and it's been an incredibly difficult time. We are seeing some great stuff that's coming out, and I think we need to champion some of the great stuff and focus less on the negative. What do you think is one of the great things that's going to kind of come out of the situation we've been in the last few months?
Yeah, good question. There's a lot. I'm seeing a lot of positives that are coming out of this. So you're right that the loss of life is absolutely tragic, and the effect on the economy. But on a personal level, I've actually enjoyed being at home a little bit more in terms of spending time with loved ones, etc. I'd say one of the biggest legacies, you know, and a lot of today's, you know, is about that how kind of business dovetails into personal life and stuff. But I've spent years telling the guys in the business or the wider community what a great business I think we are, and I think COVID has partly allowed us to prove that, not only in terms of the generosity of my recruiters have done in terms of finding those volunteers, but from a business point of view, how the company and my board made a decision to protect all our staff with full pay, full commissions, no job losses, etc. So the positive for us and that legacy, the hope it leaves is, although we say we're great, I'd like to think we prove we're great, and we put the people before the profits of the business.
I love that. And you know what? I don't think you need to think that. I think anyone that listens to that, you probably get 101% people saying, I think your business probably did put its money where its mouth is. Thank you, Matt. It's been really lovely to have you as a guest here. We had, someone else has put some more French comments there. Anyone that's watching this live now, please like, please share. Anyone that's watching it after the event, I hope you enjoy the content. I wish everyone a fantastic weekend. And Matt, VIQU, thank you very much for your time today, buddy. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Nick. Really appreciate it.